Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Basketball Bulletin. My name's Trevor Lane, and not much going on in the NBA
Oh,
right now. Kind of a quiet, lazy weekend. So we thought we'd hop on here and talk a little bit, see if we can find some stuff to talk about. Anyway, Donnie Freeman joining me. Donnie, how are you doing? I've got a lot of free time on your hands right now. I'd imagine
yeah,
not much
yeah,
happening. Quiet day.
yeah. I'm still waiting for De'Aaron Fox or maybe Jimmy or Bi. I'm still waiting for that stuff, but no, absolutely nothing else happened. Nothing completely unexpected or being touted as one of the craziest trades ever happened. No, that absolutely no.
I really think it is one of the craziest trades ever. Luka to the Lakers, Anthony Davis to the Mavs, a few other pieces involved, of course, shocked the NBA world. To the point, Donnie, we've never seen this before, where Shams Charania puts it out there on
Yeah,
Twitter, and everyone, all of us, we all thought he'd been hacked because
yeah,
there was no way that was a real trade that was actually happening.
yeah. I'm sitting on the couch with my wife and we're just watching TV talking. I'm like, wait, what the f? What the f? And I say it like 10 times. And I look at him like, wait, this is really Sean's. Like, I was like, he got hacked. No, this isn't real. What the F? And then we get more stuff. And I'm like, it's real. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, it's you. I can understand from both sides why people would be happy or upset about it because there's legitimate reasons to make an argument both ways, but you don't see a 25-year-old franchise cornerstone traded right
Mm-mm.
before they even hit their prime, or you don't see that. These are the kind of guys that franchises spend their entire time trying to get and build around. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then on the AD piece, you don't see guys like him traded, often without a request or things like that
Yeah.
too. And this was just kind of thrown out there. This kind of happened. So kind of crazy.
We had been operating under the assumption that in order for Anthony Davis or LeBron James to be traded, they would have to go to the Lakers and say, "Please
Yeah.
trade me."
That's still the
And that's
case for LeBron because
that,
his thing, but
correct. He does have a no trade clause, but that is not the way this went down, which was a big surprise with the way all this happened. And now a lot of pieces to pick up on both sides, on the Mavs side, on the Lakers side, and I think there's more coming, and that's what should make for a very exciting trade deadline around the NBA. I mean, we will always remember this trade deadline as the Luka Anthony Davis trade deadline.
mhm.
That is now there is forget anybody who was saying, well, this is gonna be a boring trade deadline. The moves that are happening aren't that exciting and all that kind of no, that's gone. It's AD, Luka. It will be that trade deadline forever, but there's more to come. But
Yeah.
I mean, just with the Lakers and the Mavs, there's more to come. But around the whole league, I think we're going to see a lot of activity between now and Thursday, and that is really exciting. Which brings me to a roundabout point. If you've not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button right here on the Basketball Bulletin. Of course, we'll keep you up to date on things going on around the NBA. But Donnie, some of the fallout. I don't know if you've seen Mavs fans very unhappy with
Yeah.
what's going on right now.
And
Uh,
I understand it for sure.
yeah, it's not what Mavs fans were hoping for right now. And I hear I'll share this. This is video of outside in Dallas. This is outside of the Mavs arena. They are
Oh, I haven't
power
seen this.
washing off profane statements that are being directed
Oh
towards
my God.
Nico Harrison, Mavs GM, and fans start cheering when it is not coming off of the sidewalk. That is the
Wow.
current situation in Dallas. Fans not thrilled there. Um, I understand why Mavs fans would be upset too. Luka was their
Absolutely.
guy, and now he's gone, and he was supposed to be the future of their team, and instead they got a 31, going to be 32-year-old Anthony Davis.
Yeah. I don't, like I said, you don't see guys like Luca traded very often. And the crazier part about it is that the Mavs approached the Lakers and it wasn't the other way
Yeah,
around, which that adds a whole layer of context to it. That it's like they really just were not seeing eye to eye for a bunch of reasons. A lot of stuff kind of came out. I don't know how true some of that is. It seems like the kind of spin that you put out there when you know your fans are going to be
afterwards.
upset. Like,
Yeah,
you kind of just put all that out there. Oh, and it may be legitimate. I mean, he's always been a bit pudgy and out of shape, but he still was cooking the league, so I didn't really mind much about it. But they had a lot of different things, and them approaching the Lakers is crazy. And there was a report that they really thought AD was their guy, and it's going to be interesting because neither AD or Kyrie were able to lead a team deep into the playoffs or into the promised land.
By themselves.
Ironically, by themselves. But ironically, both of them needed LeBron to help them and be their Batman. So we're going to see what happens with the Mavs and how that looks. But I'll tell you, I actually, aside from the fact that they're losing a generational superstar, like I actually kind of like their roster. Like seriously, I do like how this
fits.
Looks. It's a really good roster. Like you can see that team actually making a run. Like I can understand the logic from that perspective, but you just don't trade Luka. That's the tricky part about it, right?
Yeah, this is now, built around Kyrie and AD. You've got Klay Thompson on the wing. I mean, plenty of spacing. Max Christie, who it's so sad to see leave the Lakers in this deal. Personally, I don't know how you feel, Donnie, but I would have sent Dalton Connect if I could have instead of Christie. That's how much I like Christie. I would have kept Christie.
Max would have been perfect on the team. And actually on the Lakers piece of it really quick, I don't know if Mavs fans know how good both of those players are. Like I saw somebody making an equivalent and it just wasn't even a comparison. Like it wasn't even like they were saying like Luka's like up here and AD is like way down here. And I'm like,
AD is great.
I don't know if that's true. Like that, like there's that huge of a chasm. And then Max was really flourishing. Like that's a really good trade, but you could have probably got much more if you shopped Luka. Like you could have got a lot. Like it just was weird, but they were dead set on AD. So
yeah, they definitely were. They definitely were. You see, there was a video online
crazy.
of the groom stopping the wedding because of the Luka trade. I did not see that.
That's crazy.
Wow, that's a real thing. Crazy. I guess it doesn't. What would you have done?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I might have. I went out and was just what the F. My wife was like, bro, stop it. Like, what are you doing? I was going crazy. I could maybe have done that same reaction too. The players' reactions in the game was kind of funny. The Phoenix playing.
They had similar reactions to all of us, right? You saw Devin Booker, you saw Kevin Durant. They were shocked. By what was going on.
All the tweets from all the players, they're like, wait, what? Like, what's going on? A bunch of players were tweeting like this is crazy. And then also on a side note, I saw CJ was like, oh, got to make sure you keep your bags packed. But the quote tweets were hilarious. They're like, you're good. You're not getting traded anywhere.
Man, I mean, it really has sent shockwaves around the NBA.
Crazy.
This is every team is going to have to reset to some degree because of this. I would imagine, especially when we talk about the trade front now, the Lakers, the Mavs, what they're looking for on the trade market significantly changes for both teams. And so they're going to have to reset all of this. In fact, the Mavs are having their presser right now to talk a little bit about the trade and kind of announce it. Jay says Austin Reeves, Herb Jones swap. I mean, yeah, I would do that.
I would do that too, but I don't think that the Pelicans do it. Do you?
I don't think the Pelicans do it.
No,
I don't think the Pelicans do it, but I would do that. By the way, how long did the Lakers really have to deliberate on this? Really? Like, well, I would imagine probably the Mavs initially said AD plus both firsts plus Austin, probably said all the stuff, right? And maybe you negotiated them down a little bit or something. But once you've got to like this actual trade, the reporting out there is the Lakers took 48 hours to deliberate or something like that. Like, what the hell are you doing with 48 hours? Like, this is a no-brainer.
Well, I was hearing just
before they changed their mind.
Yeah, I was hearing just before we came on, I was listening to somebody else, and they were saying that they initially approached them on the last game that they played last month.
Yeah,
that game where the Lakers lost. Like, they actually approached them to talk about it behind the scenes. Like, that's kind of crazy if that's true. And maybe it was very, very high, but they talked them down. You got to think about it. There must be a lot of value on Christie too to make up for that age gap between Luka and AD. I'd have to imagine Christie was valued at least as 1 or 2 first-round picks in this trade because that 29 pick is going to be terrible. And I also think that devalues the 31 pick as well if you're going to try to make a move with that 31 pick. But that 29 pick is going to be terrible. You're not getting much from that. So that's where it's tricky. Like, I'm sure they talked them down. But that's one where, like, you don't need to deliberate very long on that. Like, people were saying they should try to get Lively or Gafford or what. No. You push this through at whatever eligibility you think is fair. You push this through right now. You don't need to do anything else.
Don't slow it down. No. All that does is give them time to talk to someone else.
Correct. Yeah, you don't do that, which is why I said it's crazy. I'm surprised they didn't shop There was a comment saying they could have got Giannis. I don't know. But hey, if Luka's tradable, like Devin Booker was saying last night, who really is untradeable? Is Wemby like the only untouchable guy in the league right now? That may be true.
Well, so there's a report out there from Sam Amick that the Mavs did call one other team, about a superstar level player, and they were turned down. So Wemby. Who is it? I mean, was it Wemby? Was it? Maybe it was Giannis.
Maybe. Yeah.
That would be a guess too. That it could have been Giannis, but we're turned down. But they really wanted AD from the Lakers. I'm going to get into some of the chat questions and comments here in just a minute. There's still plenty for us to sort through here. Trevor sounds excited that AD is gone. Do not hear what I'm not saying. I don't know why I have to say that so much. Do not hear what I'm not saying. Okay? Not excited AD is gone. This is not like, I love waffles. Why do you hate pancakes? It's that old thing, right? That's not what I'm saying here. AD was great for the Lakers. Not good, great. He's an amazing big. He's underrated. I believe he got screwed out of Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. He should have won the award. AD is phenomenal. But there was no way, if you're the Lakers, there's no way you could turn this down. There was just no way. When you look at it from an organizational perspective, franchise moving forward for the future, you cannot turn this trade down if you're the Lakers. There's no way you can walk away from this. Imagine this, Donnie. Imagine if word got out that the Lakers were offered Luka and said no.
Yeah, that's I'm actually curious who that team is now. That mystery team. That could be interesting. But yeah, you can't turn this down. And I think two things can be true also. You could be excited about Luka and the future with Luka because you're realistically going to have him for the next decade. And then also be not upset, but like saddened by the departure of AD, which I think is fair too. Like he was our guy. He won a championship with them. He wanted to be here. He wanted to be the next guy for this team post LeBron. And there was legitimate ideas about whether that could be a thing. And he seemed bought into it. And I think it is bittersweet. It's absolutely bittersweet from the Lakers side too. But I think also the AD narrative is weird, like Miguel was saying here. Hurt all the time, and he's 32 years old. Well, he hasn't been hurt 32, though, lately. But he's not hurt. He's played 175 of the last 190 or so games. Like AD has been out there, and he sometimes can go up and down. The last game he played was a 40-23 or so game just a few days ago. Like he was dominant. And AD, I think, is absolutely being slept on from the other side. But I understand. I do get it. You don't want to give up Luka. That's the crazy part. Like I don't know that there's maybe one or two guys in the entire league that you could trade Luka for and not feel upset about. It's just
I mean, what is that list? It's Wemby.
It may just be maybe
Jokic. Wemby, is it Wemby and Jokic, and that's it? Those are the only. Like, are those the only? If we were just to trade one for one, is there anyone else that you would trade Luka? I mean, I guess we could argue Giannis.
Yeah.
Right.
He's a bit older too, though.
A little bit, yeah. He's 30.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Jokic is right there too, though. So like it may just depending on your timeline,
I look at the Giannis's game is more based on, not totally based on, but it's more reliant upon his athleticism. Yeah. Whereas Jokic,
that's Jokic.
Jokic isn't very athletic to begin with, so he's going to be doing this for years.
I'm going to bite the bullet on Jokic. If I'm being honest, I'm doing it.
There's a comment here in the chat about Ant. Oh, I would trade Ant in a second if I was getting Luka.
Yeah.
I would trade Ant. There's a comment in the chat about AD playing next to the two centers. Yeah, AD was just talking about how he feels like he's a 4 with the Mavs. They've got Gafford. Lively is hurt right now, but he'll be back. They've got bigs for him to play next to. He's going to be playing the 4 a lot on this team. So AD will get his wish with Dallas. And I think Dallas is really well set up.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Clay, you have Max Christie, you still have PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, of course, Kyrie. They've got pieces on this team. Najee Marshall, they've got pieces on this team to make a real run right now with AD, and Anthony Davis gets his wish of playing power forward. He's going to play a bunch of power forward on this team.
There was a report saying that he's still going to probably close games at the center, which is funny. But if you just go top to bottom, the Mavs roster is stacked. Like it really is. You got Hardy, you got Kyrie, you got Max Christie now over there. You've got Clay, you got AD, PJ, Gafford, Lively. They Grimes. They've got a really good roster. So I think AD is going to have a great time there, and it puts him in a win now situation that may be a bit more stable, considering the Lakers maybe or may not have been able to put a center there and make the couple of moves that they needed, because regardless of how you feel about the team, the Lakers, they weren't very far with that last iteration. They only needed one or two pieces, and they were right there. They also started to really gel. DFS coming in had them playing like a top 10 team on both sides. Vando is back, and they started to look really good. And they capped that off by getting probably their best win of the season without AD against a team they had no business beating last night. I think that's gotten lost in the sauce here. Last night, LeBron put up a 33-point triple-double in New York last night.
We were all just buzzing after last. We were excited. That was an amazing win, all that kind of stuff. And then this happened. I mean,
it just got
my
long.
God. I think I set the record yesterday for the amount of time that I was broadcasting. That was unbelievable. Just because everything that went on. Trevor, do you think LeBron will leave because they did not communicate with him? I wanted to address this real quick because Chris Haynes did report, and I just put it out there on Lakers Nation, that LeBron will stay with the Lakers through the trade deadline. He does have a player option next summer. We'll see what happens there, but it sounds like that's it sounds like that's gonna be a thing that where he will stay. All right.
Damn.
That's a good comment. Let's get into a few more of our questions here. Comments.
Oh, whoops, my bad.
I've got Michael said, let's not give decent Pelinka too much credit. Basically, they gave us Luka on a silver platter. Big malpractice by the Dallas GM and ownership. So, I mean, I've got a lot of people talking about that. How much credit do you actually give Rob Pelinka for this? Because a lot of people are very quick. In most situations, you would say, oh my God, this GM did a phenomenal job. How did you get a guy like Luka? But I'm seeing this argument a lot. He did nothing because the Mavs brought this to the Lakers. Therefore, Rob Pelinka gets zero credit. Do you agree with that?
I don't think he gets zero, but I'm not going to and the thing is that this is a career making, saving, trade for Luka or for Rob. Because I was starting to wonder if this year they didn't make a trade, like how long is his leash, right? Now he's going to be the GM of this team for the next at least 5-6 years because of this trade, and he's going to get a legitimate chance to put a team around Luka and retool this team post LeBron, all that stuff. But I mean, I'm going to be honest. He's also kind of one of the luckiest GMs ever, in my opinion. He had AD fall into his lap. Because they orchestrated that, and all he had to do was say okay, right? And now he kind of has this fall into his lap for a generational star.
So Nico Harrison right now mentioning that the talk started 3 to 4 weeks ago. He's reiterating that it didn't just get done now. So
they started negotiating.
So he did have to negotiate this for a while. So, look, again, I would expect the Mavs would have asked for a lot more. So I give Rob some credit for negotiating this down. I would imagine there had to be something done here. But yeah, he didn't go and get this. This is coming from the Mavs presser. Get this. We kept it between us. We had to. We kept it tight. Jason Kidd didn't know about it.
Oh, that's crazy.
So he didn't even ask Jason Kidd, yo, do you want to coach Anthony Davis again at the cost of Luka? They just went and did it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, well, if I was going to give Rob a 5 out of 10, I'll give him a 7 out of 10 for keeping that quiet. But you know what I will say is Rob typically is good at that. He operates in silence. It's very opposite to how Magic was when he was a GM. Everything was out there. In fact,
he told everything to everybody.
He was getting tampering fines. It's so different. But for Rob, he typically does things you're not expecting. They're in silence, and I'll give him some credit for that. Even though I still think it fell into his lap because they're kind of low-key stupid for trading Luka. Like I said, I get it. There are the concerns, but still, he's freaking Luka Doncic. He's 25 years old. You don't trade.
Word is they were going to have to give him the Supermax, and they're worried about his value on the Supermax, which to me is crazy.
He's Luka.
And yeah, they're worried about his conditioning and all that, and they're worried about the Miami Heat. We're already lining up to get money in for 2026 money to specifically go after Luka. Well, here's the thing. Now the Lakers find themselves in that situation. If Luka doesn't sign an extension this summer, then it's the De'Aaron Fox situation where, all right, well, then you're looking to trade Luka, right? So he either extends, and so the Mavs kind of are saying we jumped ahead of this thing, because we didn't want to give him the full supermax. And when we didn't give him that, he's probably not going to sign it. And then we're going to be dealing with trade rumors all season. And then the Miami Heat are going to try to swoop in and take him from us for nothing the following summer if we don't trade him. So that's the situation they were looking at. The Lakers can't give him a supermax. Once the player's been traded like this and they're off their rookie contract, they are not eligible for a supermax. So the Lakers will offer him a full max extension this summer. I'm confident of that. If Luka does not sign that, then the Lakers will flip him in a trade and send him somewhere else. I don't think that's the way this is going to go. But that's a big part of why the Mavs decided to do this. They felt like they're getting ahead of the game by doing it. But nonetheless, it still begs the question, why not open this up to the whole league? I mean, it's incredible that they kept it as quiet as they did. That is a feat in and of itself. But why the Mavs didn't open this up to the whole league for bidding, I would have to imagine somebody would have offered more than this to get Luka.
Yeah, that's the crazy part about it. I think that if they had opened it, that would have probably happened. They would have got the entire thing, but they really wanted AD, which is what I think is part of it, is they really valued AD and probably Max Christie as well. And they really like that package, regardless of any other draft picks, because that extra pick in there, like I said, it's probably not going to do much. Maybe it has some implications for them. They could trade it out. Maybe it's opened up a step in or something like that, but that pick isn't going to be great in a few years. So I think that's part of it. Also, I don't like 25 years old, blah, blah, blah. He's injury prone. Luka has had injury issues.
Yeah, he has.
But he's Luka. Like, he's not injured to the degree like Zion, and he's also shown you what he can do. He's just now coming off of pushing his team to the freaking NBA finals. Like, that's Luka last year, not like 5 years ago. That's last year. That's Luka Doncic. Like, that's regardless of injury concerns. That's why I said, injury concerns, health concerns, same thing, but weight concerns, excuse me. You get the star and figure that out later. That's why I said, like, it's tricky. But
AD had huge injury concerns when he joined the Lakers.
Absolutely. So. And they got him and put it together. And he was injured for a couple of years, but he's been really healthy the last couple of years as well. Yeah. There must have been really, like a rift or things like that going on in the back end where they just were done with Luka as a player on their team. They just didn't really want him.
Yeah. We've got Nico Harrison right now saying we needed players that fit our culture, hinting that Luka doesn't fit the culture there. But it's kind of the shots will be fired, I think, towards Luka from the Mavs side, because now the Mavs have to deflect and they've got to be like, oh, well, we did it. It's actually good that we did it because Luka is this and Luka is that and Luka is all these other things. So this negative stuff is going to have to come out here. Senpai said, as a pragmatist, I get it, but still disappointed. I just hope they actually make moves to compete. Get Time Lord and Tumani for Rui, Boucher for Kleber. Yeah, I mean, now the Lakers, they could, in theory, flip Maxi Kleber, who's an $11 million contract. I wish he was expiring, but he's not. $11 million on the books next year as well. But as long as he's by himself, they could flip him in another deal if they wanted to. What do you think about Robert Williams as a potential target? Because there's no question the Lakers roster is in disarray now. They need to move some pieces around. They need to add some pieces, specifically have to get at least one big, if not two, to be there in the paint. What do you think about Robert Williams as a target?
I'd like him for sure. I question what the Lakers should be willing to get off of, because, for example, I don't know if you should target him specifically. Maybe you could put together other pieces like Rui or maybe even AR, Dalton, maybe get a better center. Like, I don't really know what the team, it's kind of hard to gauge what they should keep when you only have it in theory. You don't know how LeBron and Luka fit, right now, and then what it'll look like, obviously, when LeBron's gone. But in theory, I think it should be fine, especially because Luka will be playing with this version of LeBron, where he's a better shooter. He can play better off ball. He's been averaging close to or at the career low in usage already for the last couple of years as he's moved away and been giving the ball more to Austin and D'Lo when he was here. And I think also LeBron found a way to make it work with Wade and Kyrie. Like, I don't have any questions about that. I just think that, and Luka's already shown that he can make it work with Kyrie last year. But I do wonder about the pieces around them, because I think that both of these guys have the same needs in terms of your roster around them. And I don't know if some of the other guys the Lakers had, like Rui, Dalton, and AR, fit the exact need that this team has, where it's like you want to put bigs, athletic bigs, 3-and-D wings, motor guys like around these guys. And I think maybe the rest of the roster, just in general, regardless of Robert Williams, should probably look like that.
Yeah, Robert Williams. If you've got injury concerns about Luka, Robert Williams is probably not as high on the list. By the way, I also say this for the Lakers: Nikola Vucevic off the list should be
Yeah,
off,
no, you
off
can't.
You can't do that. You can't do. You need a defensive first, rebounding big. I would be very in on Jakob Poeltl if I'm the Lakers. Of course, if you can get something done for Walker Kessler, Miles Turner, those are the kind of guys that you're looking for here. If you're the Lakers, look, if you had a crystal ball and you could tell me Robert Williams is going to be healthy, 100%, go get him. Go do what you can to get him. But I don't know that you can. Alex says Dallas did the Lakers and AD a solid with this trade. Dallas was tired of Luka being non-committal to the team. Luka doesn't want to be in Dallas. LeBron is out of LA. LeBron will get traded. He has a no trade clause, and it's already been announced that he will not ask to be traded by the trade deadline. So he will not be traded by the Lakers. If LeBron were to leave the Lakers, he could sign somewhere else this summer. There aren't really options with cap space to go to, but in theory, he could sign for an MLE somewhere. He's made plenty of money. He's a billionaire with a capital B. But LeBron will be a Laker through the trade deadline. That's the reporting that is out there right now.
Yeah, and I can't lie. I would very much like to see LeBron and Luka on the court together. I think that could be so fun. Can you imagine the 2-man actions with them together?
Oh, crazy!
It's gonna be disgusting. Imagine LeBron setting a screen, short roll LeBron, kicking to the corner, Luka. Oh my God, dude! Alley-ooping, backdoor cut for LeBron from Luka. Oh, it's gonna be magic, bro. I can't wait. By the way, new record, over 2,000 people live. That is awesome.
Subscribe if you haven't yet.
Yes, and hit that thumbs up. Thank you for hanging out with us here today. Well,
like Spike,
all you guys as well, where this is just ridiculous, and we're still processing.
Absolutely,
no trade happens right now because I'm still like in this. Like this is crazy.
Donnie, I slept for like 2 hours last night, and I woke up like 50 times in that 2 hours, checking my phone to see what's going on and everything. I mean, absolutely insanity right now. King Lakers said, am I the only one down on this? Love me some AD. No, I mean, I love AD too. And Max Christie. Losing Max really hurts in this.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Really hurts. He's so good last night against the Knicks and everything. But this is a no-brainer. You have to do this. And here's the thing. Donnie. So this is not just on the basketball. On the basketball court, this is a big deal because now you have your star post LeBron to build off of. They didn't have that before. They had AD. And then you're building off a 33, 34-year-old AD, and people were asking, is that okay? Are you okay with doing that? I don't know. Right? Yeah, that's a little dicey. Now you've got Luka still being his prime whenever LeBron sails off into the sunset. You're going to build around him. Just for that fact, you have to do this. But on top of that, think about it from a financial perspective. And I know people don't want to hear that, but from a financial perspective, this is a home run. Not just in the U.S., internationally, what Luka is. And you add him to the Lakers brand, oh my God. Like the Lakers would be insane. They would have to hate money to not do this because this is now going to make sure they are in the spotlight for the next decade. Whereas otherwise, you could have potentially been looking at a scenario where LeBron leaves, AD says, I want traded, and then you're talking about a rebuild, and then it takes however long to go find your next guy.
Yeah.
You've avoided that. And instead, you have a megawatt superstar now on your roster for the next decade.
Yeah, I think I find it very hard to believe they didn't think about that. For like, wait a minute. Like, pairing Luka with LA's brand, this is going to be crazy.
And it is now official. The Lakers have issued their press release announcing the acquisition of Luka. They say the Lakers have acquired 5-time first-team All-NBA guard Luka Doncic, forward Maxi Kleber, forward center Markieff Morris. In a 3-team trade, Lakers sent forward Anthony Davis, guard Max Christie, and future first-round draft pick, and Jalen Hood-Schifino, and a draft pick to the Utah Jazz.
That segues pretty well into Mr. Bentley's comment. Can you explain why Utah got 2 seconds in JHS? They kind of just stuck into this.
I'll tell you what, we talk about like who won in this trade. Did the Lakers win? Did the Jazz win? All of that, or did the Mavs win? The Jazz won. the Jazz win in this. Now, not like they got the star here, but this is a steal for the Utah Jazz to get that kind of value. You're paying. So remember, NBA contracts are paid throughout the year. So Jalen Hood-Schifino is what, like $3.8 million or so on the books, but a good chunk of that has already been paid. More than half of it has already been paid. So we're talking about, a million, 1.5, something like that, probably less than $2 million left due to Jalen Hood-Schifino, and they got 2 second-round picks for that. That is a screaming bargain for the Utah Jazz.
And they had to do that so the Lakers could take back the 3 players.
Yeah, well, so the Lakers could take back 3 players, yeah, and so the Lakers were sending out enough salary.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
what this is a good question. What should my 3-point nickname be for Luka?
I don't know. I'm not creative enough for that.
my Luka puns.
Yeah,
I got to come up with some stuff.
I don't know. Chat, just let us know. I couldn't tell you.
I mean, come on, Jazz. Somebody said Jazz did not win. They can collect all the picks, but you do that to get stars. When you get stars for cheap, then the picks are pretty useless. I mean, look, the value-wise, the Jazz paid way less than what second-round picks are going for right now. That's why it's a win. That's all. They got a great bargain. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go here. Vinny said, wish we kept Max. He was becoming special. Now we move Austin as 6th man and try to get Kessler and Turner. Love the trade now after processing it. Love AD, best 2-way player. Who do you like for the Lakers to get? Like, so what would the ideal outcome be for the Lakers now on the trade market?
I'm going to be honest. I don't think they can get either of those guys. It was tricky before.
I'd agree,
but they gave up a first. And again, I genuinely think if Luka is legitimately going to stay on this team, who knows if he signs that extension, right? But if he does, then your picks lose value, right? So you don't really have much you can trade otherwise. So I don't think you're getting either of those, and especially the Kessler, because the Jazz probably aren't going to want to make you better and devalue their own pick more. So yeah, I think Rob would be a nice one. He's also a cheap option, but it's kind of tricky if you got health concerns about, a couple of guys on your team. But Pirtle would be nice, but I don't think they're going to be able to get him. You may have to go get somebody like a Dayron. One thing I would like is more lob threats, because Luka's one of the best lob throwers in the league. Obviously, LeBron is too, but Luka really seeks that out. Mm-hmm. So if you can get an athlete, they kind of already have a lob guy. God dang it.
Jackson Hayes? Is that what you're talking about?
No. I want Jackson Hayes 2.0. Somebody that can actually rebound the basketball. You
need like it's crazy to say it, but you need like prime JaVale. You need the Dwight, somebody like that.
Clint could be okay.
Clint Capella.
He could do that for you,
and he's acquirable. I'll tell you what, Walker Kessler would be the guy, but you're gonna have to give up so much to get. Look, I'll tell you this: if the Jazz said Dalton Connect 2031 and take the pick protections off, I would do that.
I wonder if they say, you know what, we'll give you Sexton or whatever with him, but you give us AR Dalton. Would you do that?
Oh,
that.
I don't think so. I wouldn't go that far.
That could be tricky, man. But hey, they would like it because that one thing you said. Oh, Rob, that's kind of racist.
Right. I need to do one of those. I need to have a little phone call with Rob. The Lakers released this. How surreal is that?
That's crazy.
Luka, and the Lakers, even the way they framed it too was yes, it's real. Welcome to LA.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. We got to miss this one here, but we got a number of these, so we got to shoot through them.
Yeah.
Am I the only one down on this? Love me some AD. No, actually, I think it's fair to be like I mentioned earlier, like absolutely happy they're getting freaking Luka, but it's bittersweet. It is bittersweet because AD is our guy, won a championship here. We love him like most other fan bases don't. They don't really understand. They just call him, they stick to the narrative of him always being hurt, street clothes, blah, blah, blah. But we saw the fight from AD. We saw the last couple of years, especially, he was out there and really battling and take won like 7 or 8 of their last 10 games, capping it off with a huge win without AD last night. Like this team wasn't as far as people would lead you to believe that aren't really in tune with the team. So no. You're right. I think that's fair. He had great moments here too. Again, like that playoff run, hits that game winner, win the championship, all that stuff. Had other big moments too after that. So it's fair. It is. But you got Luka, so
you get Luka, and I mean, if you have a chance, if you have an opportunity to get Luka,
you just got to do it. You can't say
you
no.
have to do it.
You can't do it. You got to do it. You can't say no.
You have to do it. As a Laker fan, first, I'm split on the trade. Yeah. I mean, look, this is I get it, but I'll tell you what: if you're not sure about this trade, if you're a Lakers fan, go over to Mavs Reddit, and just read the comments there, and then you'll feel a lot better.
Yeah, but I think some of that is like I said, I don't think Mavs fans, like I understand not wanting to give up Luka, like I've said 1,000 times, but I don't think they understand the quality of player AD is. And also Christie's on a steal. Like he's barely 21 and he's on the upward trajectory. Like I expect him to get much better. Like I really like the roster, but again, they gave up Luka, so I get it. Absolutely. Can't indefensible. Also, a tricky thing about the Lakers side of this is I saw a report that the Lakers were interested in replacing LeBron and not trying to get rid of LeBron, but in terms of
Luka.
In terms of getting a perimeter initiating guard, like type star player. That's what they wanted. Like they were concerned about LeBron's timeline and wanted that more so than, a big man star. That's really what this also boiled down to. And it makes sense because I think it's kind of harder to get those guys. That's the initiator superstar level guys like that can be a system unto themselves. Like that's more what they were concerned about was finding LeBron's heir as opposed to, putting somebody else around AD.
Kevin said Luka can opt out next summer. Go all out. Austin Reeves, Gabe a first for Kessler and Sexton. Rui, Dalton Connect, and Wood for Bruce Brown. Okay. Or go crazy. Austin Reeves, Rui, Gabe for the Sabonis. Would you do Sabonis. Reeves, Gabe, and a first for Kessler and Sexton?
Yeah, but I don't know that they would. They're going to absolutely, like I said, ask for AR, Dalton, and whatever else to make the salaries work.
The bottom line is, if you are now the Lakers and you're building out this team, you have to get as much 3-and-D play as you can, and you have to get at least one big that is a rim protecting, rebounding monster. That's what you're looking for. At least one, ideally two, and then as many 3-and-D style players around LeBron and Luka as you can get.
Yeah, I'm really curious about how they're able to do that here with just a few days. Like that's
it won't be easy.
Part of this. It's not going to be easy. Like this is the kind of trade that your team recovers from the following season because it's such a short turnaround time.
Which is why some people say, well, the Lakers are not going to win this season then, right? Because they I mean, Rob has a lot of work to. He better not be in line for Thunder Mountain right now because he has got a lot of work to do. In order to build this team out. You look at what they've got to work with, though. You still have your 2031 pick. You still have Austin. You still have Dalton Connect. You've got some contracts that are, somewhat interesting in terms of matching salary. You've got Maxi Kleber. You could trade by himself. You've got Rui. You've got Gabe Vincent. I don't think anybody's going to want to take back Jared Vanderbilt right now with 3 years remaining on his deal. But so you do have some pieces that you can cobble together and move and try to make something fit here. That with the challenge being like Gabe Vincent, I think is now an even better fit with the Lakers because he can be an off-ball guard, defensive bulldog type player, hit the big shot in big moments, does that type of stuff. Sure. Rui, I mean, do you need his scoring as much? Maybe not, but still put a bunch of big wings around Luka and LeBron, and that tends to be the recipe for success, especially if you only get one center. You could go super switchy, which we saw the Lakers do last night with Rui, with Dorian Finney-Smith, with Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron, Luka. You could have that kind of a lineup out there on the floor. So I think it's going to be very important that the Lakers are careful with who it is that they decide to move on from with these trades. And that's why I keep going back to, if you can build a Kessler trade around Dalton Connect, you could keep some of these other pieces largely in place and just add Kessler to your roster. But I don't think the Jazz are going to move him. So Rob Pelinka is going to have to get creative.
Kessler's the ideal big to put on this team.
He's the ideal one.
you've got like half this team, I think, built already. Like some of these pieces work really well, like DFS and Vando. Like I think Gabe. I think those are the types of players you need to put on this roster.
Yeah, and DFS already has experience playing with Luka.
Yeah.
So he knows all about that.
I think they've got half this built, but I do think some of the previous guys are expendable to a degree that they weren't before, whether that's AR, Dalton, or Rui. I don't know that you're just shopping those guys for anything, but they're more expendable now because of the offensive prowess of having Luka Doncic on your team. So that, and obviously also being a guard, so it's going to soak up some of those minutes too. So it's just a little bit tricky. But I think the irony with the Lakers is that they need the exact thing they just gave up. They need they could really use another 3-and-D guard to pair in the backcourt with Luka.
Max Christie.
Max Christie. It would have been perfect. And they can also use a defensive center that's a lob threat, ideally, which is obviously one of the things AD is extremely well at, or two of the things he's really good at. So they need exactly what they gave up. But again, it's a good problem to have if you got Luka in the equation.
Yeah, absolutely. And the point being, Luka can opt out after next summer. Yes, he can. He has a player option. Not next season, but the season after. But again, he will be extension eligible this summer. The Lakers will offer that extension. Very confident of that. They're going to offer the full max extension that they can. And if Luka does not sign it, then Luka is probably right back on the trade market this summer. But I would be shocked if that's the way this goes. Although Luka, it's not like Luka went to the Mavs and said, I really want to be a Laker. You know, I mean, that's, yeah. That's something to consider. But another Luka says, by the end of the season, you push LeBron to the bench. During the offseason, you pump the idea that LeBron will start as a sixth man. I did, or you pump up the idea, because I definitely didn't. If he accepts, okay. Otherwise, he will be the one that wants out.
Why would you do this?
I don't understand.
I don't get it. Why would you do this? Like, are you insinuating that they can't play together? I think you maybe have a different perception on LeBron than the reality. LeBron's been trying to play off ball. He's been looking for guards for years. Like,
we fall into this idea that he's bad off ball too, which he's not.
He's not. He's a 40% shooter in catch and shoot scenarios. They run stuff for him to get pin downs and stuff. He's also one of the best slashers in league history. Like, he's fine. And he's made it work with other ball dominant guards before. And he's probably more equipped to do it now because he's a better shooter. Like, I don't know why you do that, especially for the guy that just put up a 33-point triple-double and spearheaded your team in a win they probably shouldn't have got last night. Like, that's a little tricky. I don't know. I think, like I said, them two together is going to be amazing, and you just make that work. Mm-hmm. Where are we at in Super Chats? Because we got a lot.
Yeah, we've got a bunch more to go through. Let's start getting through some of these. Rob just built a championship roster, finally, just for the Mavs. Mavs fans will be okay. Love Luka for the Lakers. Damaged goods, but not sure Rob can build the Lakers. I do think, the Mavs are in actually a good spot. Their roster makes a lot of sense. So I do think the Mavs can win this year, next year, something like that. They've got a good shot. They've got a good team. They can really make some noise. As far as Mavs fans will be okay, I hope so. I mean, like I've seen a lot of Mavs fans. Like, let me put it this way: if I'm Nico Harrison, I would lay low for a little while. I would lay low for a while. If I'm not. Yeah. Do not go anywhere public right now in Dallas, Nico. That probably will not go well.
Yeah, don't do it. They've already got memes going of him getting snatched up at like gas stations and stuff. Don't do it.
You see, there's some reporting that the Lakers were not going to give Anthony Davis an extension next summer when he was eligible.
I did not see that.
That's kind of going around. So that's interesting. Maybe a part of a factor in this. But again, even if you were, you would still do this.
Yeah. Do you think that this team, if they retool properly, can actually go all the way this year?
The Lakers?
Yeah. I think the Mavericks
come on, LeBron and Luka together. That's so much talent right there. Now, ideally, you'd have an off season to figure it out and put pieces together and really gel and everything. There's no question that's not ideal. But you put LeBron and Luka on the same team together, I'm not going to bet against. I'm not going to say no. There's zero chance they figure it out.
That's a tough out, man.
Yeah,
that's kind of scary. And I wonder if, like, there's obviously a world where Rob is, because he's only got a few days. There's obviously a world where he's not able to perfect this roster, and we have to wait until like next year. But I think there's a chance that this team could go pretty far just because
Sure.
you've got two of the best offensive players in league history in the NBA today. Like, you can really make it work. The tricky thing is the defense around these guys, which is where I said, like, I think some of these guys can be good post LeBron, of course. And I don't think LeBron's run rate is very long. I think he'll play for sure next year. I don't doubt that he'll play next year, but I think he retires next year. The runway is very short, but I think you could retool around, some of these guys like AR, obviously in that post LeBron era. But if you really wanted to go all in right now, you've got stuff that you previously were maybe not considering moving on from, that you could, put some good 3-and-D centers or players, and another center around this team and make it work. And I think this team could really go. But like I said, I like the Mavs roster too. Like, I really think the Mavs are good.
Their roster is much more balanced after this trade, certainly than the Lakers roster is.
It's good. The AD and Lively is terrifying. That's terrifying.
That's great.
AD and Gafford is also really scary. By the way, we crossed the 3,000 live.
Let's go. And that's just on YouTube.
Crazy.
That's just YouTube.
Just on YouTube. Yeah, guys, make sure you're subscribing and hitting that thumbs up. We really appreciate all the support that we're getting here on the Bulletin.
By the way, it is still surreal just to see Luka on the Lakers roster right now on their cap sheet. 3-team trade. The Lakers get Claxton. That's another name that's been out there that maybe the Lakers could be interested in, from Brooklyn, and Cody Martin from Charlotte, another player they've been linked to. Brooklyn gets Rui, Gabe, and that first. Okay, so for Claxton, Charlotte gets Maxey and a second from the Lakers. I don't recall on Charlotte. Is Cody Martin expiring?
I don't know. We'd have to,
because I would imagine if he is, let me see. If he is, that might be an issue because Kleba is not expiring. He is effectively, he's guaranteed 0 next year. I don't know if a second is enough. It depends on how Charlotte feels about Kleba. But if this was the net, if you were to get Cody Martin and Claxton, yeah, I think you probably have to do this. If you're the Lakers, you're getting a big and Claxton. It would hurt to give up both Rui and Gabe, though. I can tell you that. Rui and Gabe plus a first, because I do think Rui and Gabe could both be important pieces for the Lakers with this team, with Luka. But to get a big like Claxton, you probably have to consider it. Yeah,
I think you'd have to consider it. I think, like we mentioned earlier, Gabe is important to the current roster build. He's one of the only guys in the roster that can do what he does on the perimeter. And I think he's one of the main guys you would like to pair alongside a Luka Doncic if you were building a team, ideally, like that archetype of player of Gabe. And then Rui, I think his size and interior defense could be really useful for this team. Not so much with shot blocking, of course, but he's sturdy. He's able to wall people. And we saw him do it last night. He had a great time against Cat, and he defended really well. I think that size is useful. And you want to have as many, with Luka being a bigger guard, because he's really like, he's like 6'7".
He's a guard, but in a wing's body, right? A forward's body.
You can really get switchy with this team, which is interesting. Him, LeBron, Vando, DFS. You plug in your last guy there, which would probably have been Max previously, but Bittersweet. Rui, if you wanted to do that, or Gabe, you can get pretty switchy with this team, so that's interesting. But if you get the opportunity to get Claxton, I kind of get him. He's an ideal fit.
Yeah, absolutely. Miles said Knicks get OG Mitch Robinson for LeBron. Mitchell Robinson is not back from injury yet, and OG just got injured last night. What are we talking about? That's crazy. Jeremy, Luke 3 Doncic. Get that nickname going.
That's gonna be a tricky one.
Luke 3. He's a difficult one.
It's gonna be tricky.
I'm gonna have to put my thinking cap on for that one. We'll workshop it and come up with something.
It's gonna be tricky.
Mamadou said we need a defensive shooting guard next to Luka. Yep, like a Max Christie.
A Max Christie. Yeah.
That's why I would assume the option was not on the table. But if I was the Lakers, and if there was any way to replace Max with Dalton Connect, I would have done that in a heartbeat. But obviously that was not an option for them. Yeah, I mean, they definitely could use somebody. They could use it. And for the time being, the default can be Dorian Finney-Smith, but I don't think that he's quick-footed enough to defend twos all the time. So I do think they could use a defensive guard more so now than ever before.
I think you may have to start Vando at the 2.
Just to defend.
Just to put him out there and defend. Like we've seen some groups where Vando is out there at like basically the 2 because he's guarding the perimeter and there's a whole bunch of wings. So
We have Cam Reddish. What are you talking about? Cam Reddish, for whatever reason, he was out with personal reasons last night. Again, I hope everything's okay. I have no insight onto what that is. But he's been not in the rotation for a few weeks now. That's why I'm not including him in that conversation.
Yeah, that's why, like, he's not. I don't think he's going to get any play. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets traded as part of this deadline.
Can you please welcome us ex-Mavs fans to Lakers Nation? We need a home, of course.
Oh,
come on in.
Crazy.
We take all comers. Come on in. Welcome aboard. We'll get your jersey at the door, and we're happy to have you.
Yeah, that's crazy. I saw that their Twitter account lost like 700,000 followers.
I actually saw that was fake.
Oh, was it? Or was it Instagram? Right?
Yeah, it was on Instagram, and I saw there was a on on X they do the community notes. There's a community note on there saying that it was photoshopped.
Oh, okay. What do you think about this?
So much for the Lakers' reputation of treating their superstars with extra care. Yeah, that does take a little bit of a hit, right? Like they traded AD without telling him. Luka gets traded with no word. LeBron gets caught by surprise. That reputation that the Lakers have tried to create for a long time now has been that they take care of their stars. They do right by their stars, all of that. That said, they could have sent Anthony Davis a lot worse places if they sent him to a team that's ready-made to go right now. He wanted to play the 4 more. They sent him to a place where he could do that. They checked some boxes there for AD. It's not like they sent him to the Wizards or something like that. But yeah, they didn't exactly incorporate that. But how much of this, Donnie, is the Lakers organizationally maybe resting perhaps the final pieces of control from Clutch here too?
Yeah, I wonder if that's
part of it.
If that's part of it as well. Chris Haynes was saying that Rob and Rich have a very good relationship. They had talked about working together as well on a deeper level. I don't know if that matters much, but yeah, when LeBron's gone, I mean, you can't just completely wash your hands at Clutch because you'll get more of their clients in the future. Rich is and his agency obviously are one of the most powerful agencies in the league, but they would have had potential control, quote unquote, over the Lakers for the next handful of years here. So, but I feel like that part of it is like it's a little bit overblown today. I really feel like they kind of just pulled that control back after the Russ stuff.
I think that's fair. Yeah, and I heard that it was probably about a year ago. I heard like the Lakers Clutch stuff wasn't what it used to be. It was no longer as strong. That was like a year ago.
Yeah, I think that really, like that situation, the way that went, how messy it was, I think that really, they pulled back from that. For better or worse.
What do you think about a 3-team trade where the Jazz and Magic, Austin, Dalton, and picks, and get Kessler and KCP in return? Well, I mean, what is each side getting? And like, I don't know that you have enough picks to satisfy both sides of that. And frankly, I know Lakers fans know that KCP can be very streaky. So far, he's been incredibly cold all season, and we're just waiting for him to snap out of it. So that's maybe the challenge there too. But I don't think that this is. I just don't think it's feasible to get both of those guys. And is it enough with Austin Dalton, enough value? Yeah, but how do you split it up to satisfy both of those things? And I guess, would you give up Austin to get KCP? Because I think I would not.
No.
Even though KCP is the better fit, I'm not giving up a 26-year-old Austin for, what is KCP, 32 now? Something like that?
32, I thought he was like 30, 31. But yeah, I probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Michael, how many monsters have I had in 24 hours? Like a half of one. I sip on them every now and then just to kind of keep me going. But yeah, I've probably had in total probably 3/4 of one. I haven't had a full one, that's for sure.
I've had like 5.
Have you?
Yeah.
Good Lord. Man, I had a hard time falling asleep. I can tell you that.
No,
Went to sleep it was like 3 a.m. Pacific time, and I struggled to go to sleep.
No, I need to cycle off of caffeine because now I'm at a point where caffeine almost does nothing for me. My body is just so used to it.
Do you start getting headaches if you haven't had caffeine?
Absolutely. If I don't have caffeine, I get
You're hooked.
Yeah, yep. I need to get off of it. I just use it so much for working out. Every 3-4 months, I do like a non-stimulant caffeine or workout where it's like mainly like an NO booster, no caffeine. But right now, like I'm just on a bunch of like caffeine all the time, and it almost does nothing for me anymore.
Well, yeah, you're going to have a few days that are not fun.
Yeah.
When you stop, and then but then you'll get through it.
Yeah.
For Dallas, really go all in. Jeremy says, call Indy, trade Lively and salary filler for Turner. Indy gets their center replacement, and AD gets a 3-point bag. Man, that would be scary. Turner in Dallas, that would be scary. If they were able to do something like that. That would be a great move for Dallas. Now, what have to look into what would the salary filler actually be and all that, especially now that Kleba is off their team. But yeah, that would be. I mean, if you had Kyrie and then Turner and AD in the paint, woo, that would be impressive.
That would be, man, like the Mavericks. The Mavericks, like I said, I really like their team. I have questions about whether or not two historical Robins can lead you to the promised land. But I think if things strike their way or break their way, they could probably be successful. Do you think? What do you think their defense will be for the latter half of this season? Like, where do you think it'll rank? To me, they've got like a top 2-3 defense with this team.
Yeah, they have the potential to be top 5 defensively. I mean, we've got AD, you've got Gafford, Najee Marshall. Well, Clay is not the defender once was. Kyrie can be a better defender, I think, than he gets credit for. Max, yeah, they could be a very good defensive team. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yellow Glaze, the Mavs are not that good. Okay, if you think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think AD, the Mavs fit what the Mavs don't. I think the Mavs could be active and make more trades. They don't have to do anything though. Like their team is set now.
I just don't think people know how good the players that they got are. I think that's what it is.
And I think people are downplaying how good Anthony Davis is too. And you mentioned how good the players they get, but AD himself, and then people don't know how good Max Christie has become, especially over the last month or so. He has really come into his own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if people know, like the Mavs team's legit. So the tricky thing with them, or the good thing with them, excuse me, is that I don't think there's going to be any period where they have to like gel or adjust because AD's pretty plug and play. Whereas I do think there's probably going to be a little bit of an adjustment period for the Lakers with their 2 stars because they're going to have to figure out, oh, I need to be in this spot when this person's doing that. This is where I want to be, and this is how we're going to play off of each other. With Kyrie and AD, there's none of that. AD is plug and play, baby. You put him out there and he does what he does. Like, and he gets to play where he wanted to play in terms of positionally. And they've got great bigs. They got some of the best defensive bigs in the league. And they're going to combine that with AD. They've got good perimeter initiating and scoring, shooting. They've got it all, really, I think, as long as they're healthy. And their 2 stars do have health concerns. AD's been really healthy recently. Kyrie's been mostly healthy too, but it's just tricky. But I do like that Mavs roster.
I do too. Tiago said next trade incoming. Shams tweeting the Denver Nuggets are trading Jokic to the Lakers. That's funny.
Could you imagine? That's insane.
That is indeed. What if LeBron has agreed to go like Magic Johnson and play the 5? Magic did that for 1 game in the NBA Finals because Kareem got hurt. It's not like he said, I'm going to play there all the time. It was incredible that he did it, but yeah, I wouldn't assume that's what's going to happen here. Lakers and Jazz haven't finalized the trade yet. Well, when you sent that was true. They have finalized it. That's done. Demetrius, I didn't see any other super chats. I just went through all of them. So this is your first super chat, and I didn't skip it. Austin Reeves and Rui got to go ASAP. Target Mathurin and Turner. Well, yeah, if you can get Turner, great. But again, the Pacers would need a big coming back to them. Wendell Carter cannot be traded. You mentioned Wendell Carter. He is not trade eligible this season because of when he signed his extension. Capella, Bruce Brown. Yeah, Capella would be great. No credit to Rob. He sleptwalked and got handed AD. Now looks good. Again, we don't know what the negotiations actually were. That's the problem with just saying, nope, Rob gets 0 credit. I don't know. Maybe Rob gets a ton of, maybe Rob was able to drive the price down, and it was Austin and both First and Connect and Christie and everything was in it. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe at one point this is just what the starting point was, and Rob just kind of hemmed and hawed, and then finally they did it a few weeks later. I don't know what that looks like, but so I don't want to just jump to the conclusion that he just gets no credit and this just landed in front of him, and all he had to do was just sign off and say yes.
I mean, like I said earlier, I think he gets some credit, especially for the negotiating part of it, but they also approached him. That's the tricky thing about it. So it's like, to me, while you negotiated, you're not going to say no. Even if it was a little high for your liking, while you try to negotiate, if they said, no, this is our line in the sand, you're still going to say yes, I think, because it's freaking Luka Doncic. So that's where I'm a little bit conflicted about the credit. But like I said, organizationally, he deserves all the credit. He's going to get an extension off of this. He's going to be the GM for the next 5 to 7 years because of it. That's all that really matters.
Grindhard said, did a super chat for Lakers Nation, didn't get read. Man, I saved all of them that I didn't get to. It will take me some time to get through them. We do appreciate all of the support, of course. But we that was the live stream we did the middle of the night last night when the news was announced. That was the most people we had in a live stream on Lakers Nation since the Lakers won the championship in 2020. That live stream was insane. We had more than 100,000 people in watching that show. It was absolutely insane. Rob was scared of the hot seat. He went all in for a blockbuster trade. I don't look at this as like this was a panic trade or a trade where Rob was scared. I mean, I look at this as a trade that if Rob doesn't do, then he's on the hot seat. If you don't do something like this.
Yeah, you can't not. That's my point though. Like, how much negotiating does he really have to do? You can't turn this trade down. Like, it's Luka Doncic. He's 25. You got to do it. I don't care about, like I said, I don't care about injury concerns. Like, I get it. That's legitimate from the Mavs side. I get it. You know, they have legitimate reasons as to why they want to move off him. But if you're the Lakers, you can't say no.
Yeah, you can't. You have to just get it done. Laker Ball said, if the Mavs are structured to win now, why does Vegas have the Lakers having improved odds to win the title post-trade, assuming they're feeling the Lakers not done? Yeah, I think the second part is part of that. The Lakers are not done. I think they are going to make more moves. But you also have to remember that Vegas odds, while they can be important data points for us, they are not predicting what will happen. They are based on what they believe people will bet on will happen. So you have a bunch of Lakers fans right now. They're all excited. They want to go put money on the Lakers. And so the odds are going to reflect that there's a bunch of money coming in on the Lakers side of things. And that's what's going to happen there. Same reason why there were odds that Bronny would become the rookie of the year this year. That was never going to happen. But Vegas knew that there were Lakers fans and a bunch of people, and he was very public. There were people who would put money on it and throw their money away. And so they put that out there. They set the lines based on where they believe people will bet, not necessarily based on what they think people will happen. It could still be an important data point. And when you see lines move before a game and news hasn't come out, like significantly moved, you go, uh-oh, somebody knows something, right? It can tell us things, but we have to remember that the ultimate goal for Vegas, it's to make money. They're not in the business of putting lines out as a way for people to predict the future.
Yeah, that's more so what it is.
All right, we've got Marcus said, appreciate y'all covering last night, having me up till 2 a.m. Congrats on 250K plus views on Lakers Nation. Well, thank you. And we appreciate you guys being over here on the Basketball Bulletin. We didn't know what the response would be to this endeavor when we started this, Donnie and I, and we're really happy. It's so thrilled with how many people are here. And again, if you're not a subscriber yet, please do hit that subscribe button, because we're going to have all kinds of stuff coming up all the way through the trade deadline and beyond here. So exciting stuff right here.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. And I got to say, that LN stream was crazy. Like, I was like, what? This is insane. Rob and Nico have a relationship, and that's the biggest point we are missing. People always talk about Rob doesn't have relationships, but we just seen the relationship do for one another. So yeah, I think that's pretty true. That's where, like, Rob also gets credit for having that relationship and being able to leverage that. I think that's a really big point.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not that I'm opposed to giving Rob credit. I like to see both sides of it. And I also think that Nico had a really big part in it by approaching Rob like, hey, do you want Luka? And Luka's like, there was actually a transcript on it. Did you see the transcript?
How did that happen? Yes.
There was
a transcript of what they said.
Yeah, it basically went like that. He's like, do you want Luka?
Are you joking?
You're joking, right? Like, of course I want Luka. Like, that's why I'm like 1 foot in, 1 foot out with the credit thing, because he deserves credit for executing it. He does. But like, come on.
I'm not really talking to Rob, right? Like, he's not. That's why you're not giving credit to Rob. You think that I'm really talking to him while he's in line at Disneyland.
Oh my God, man, that's crazy. Yeah, but he does deserve credit. He does, absolutely.
Does Kleba for Rob Williams work money wise? It does not. Rob Williams, Kleba's making $11 million, and Williams is 12.4. The Lakers have to send out more salary than they take back in a trade, so that does not work. It would work for Jonas Valanciunas, who makes less, but I know that's not particularly exciting right now.
Oh, they can't go get Jonas either. We talked about Vucevic. They can't go get Jonas either.
Yeah. Luka, Gabe, Dorian Finney-Smith, Braun, and Vando is about perfect, in my opinion. A big lineup, elite rebounding lineup, can do the switching that JJ likes. I would assume that lineup will get some looks. Only thing is you're missing a true center there. So I think it'll be situational. But yeah, I would assume that's a group that you'll see out there on the floor.
Is that a starting group?
I don't think he bumps Austin out of the starting lineup.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just sub Austin for Gabe. Is that a starting group?
Yeah.
I think that's a legitimate question.
Is that a starting group? Personally, I would do Finney-Smith instead of Vando. And I love Vando, but I would do Finney. Oh, man. What am I thinking? Oh, Ruby's out. That's what it is. It's Ruby's out.
Yeah, that's why I said, is that a starting group?
Told you 2 hours of sleep. That might be it. That may very well be it. Do we really? This is a good question. Do we really believe LeBron didn't know it was coming? I mean, the word that Rich Paul knew like 48 hours ago that this was possible. Does Rich Paul really know for like 2 days and not say anything to LeBron? Do we buy that?
By the same coin, does he not say anything to AD either? That's right. Also his client. I know LeBron is, they obviously grew up together. There's another layer there, but AD is also his star client there too.
Right.
So I'm sure he wouldn't want AD to get traded if that's the case, and he would probably inform AD that's a possibility. He'd have to. Or otherwise, if I'm AD, I'm leaving the agency. If you knew this and you didn't tell me, I'm probably leaving the agency.
Yeah, you're like, peace, I'm out.
Like, seriously.
I'm going somewhere else.
So that's the part of it too, is like, yeah, LeBron probably would have told him, but I find it hard to believe nobody would have told AD, LeBron or Rich. I think that's tricky. Because that's also LeBron's guy too. Like, LeBron loves AD.
Exactly. Luka, Finney-Smith, Vando, LeBron, Austin Reeves, Rui, plus whoever the 5 is. Yeah. I mean, that's a big lineup. And I would flip it. It's semantics. I would flip DFS and Vando in that grouping, but the way it's laid out, but sure. You could definitely do something like that. Yeah. Who's more reasonable big the Lakers can target besides Miles Turner? I mean, I think if there's any way he's available, Jakob Poeltl will be incredible.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that's like a little bit of the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. He can give you solid play at pretty much anything you'd want him to do, aside from shooting the basketball. So if you could get him, then I would go for him. I think that I would absolutely go for him.
Jorge says, if LeBron opts out, how much cap space will the Lakers have? Will Turner work with Luka? Yes. I mean, I don't think there's any question Turner would work just fine with Luka. Ideal backcourt with Luka. Maxey for Jonas. You could do that. Are we second apron now? No, you're not second apron. You are 1.6 million below. As far as how much space would the Lakers have if LeBron were to opt out this summer? Whoops, that's Memphis. If LeBron were to opt out this summer, let's take a peek. They wouldn't have any cap space per se. There'd be cap holds on the books though too.
Yeah,
so we have to keep that in mind.
Leaving, though. LeBron is staying.
Yeah, he's not. So, but if he did opt out, would they have room? They would have some, I believe, just off the top of my head. Yeah, because they have 28,000 or 28 million in cap holds minus LeBron's 50 plus. So you'd have like what 15-ish million, somewhere in that range, and then the room exception to work with.
Yeah.
What's LA's starting five if there's no move before the deadline?
Ooh.
Jackson Hayes, LeBron, Luca. I think it's still Austin, and then my guess would be Finney Smith.
Don't tell me no Jackson Hayes, man. Don't do that.
It would have to be, right?
It has to be, but
it's not Trey. Don't call me Jenna Jamison.
I almost would like that better. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Really?
I almost would.
On a two-way?
I almost would, man. Or Coloco. I would be cool with Coloco.
Okay.
Don't tell me no Jackson Hayes, man.
We've got Jerome Davis putting up 40 and 20 on us on the 25th. Oh, for sure. I'll tell you what. This is a rarity, Donnie. I wish this game was not in LA. I wish this game was in Dallas.
It's in LA?
It's in LA. It's Lakers Mavs on the 25th in LA. I wish it was in Dallas. It would be so much more interesting because you know what the response is going to be. You know what the response is going to be from Lakers fans. Cheers. AD is going to get tons of praise, all of that kind of stuff. That's coming. Yeah. I'm curious to see what the reaction was in Dallas.
Yeah, Warren, we haven't missed them. We've seen them. We just haven't got to them yet. There's a lot of super chats. So
yeah, we're getting to them. We're getting to them. I got about 30 minutes till I got to jump on a radio spot. So we're working through them here. Yeah. Nico is responsible for Brunson and Luka.
They were drafted in the same draft, and he traded both of them. That's crazy.
If Nico Harrison goes to a Whataburger right now in Dallas, they are not serving him.
No.
They are spitting in his food.
He's public enemy number one.
Yeah.
Until this team goes out there and they look like, they're maybe a little better or whatever, he can't show his face. He can't.
Yeah. Finally at the point where my team's best player is younger than me.
That's a mood.
Just wait till you get like me, and then you can always say that.
I was gonna say it's gonna get easier later.
It gets easier. It gets easier. All in for Fox. No, they're not getting De'Aaron Fox. No, not getting De'Aaron Fox.
What about Dallas? Does Dallas maybe try to swing for Fox?
No, they got Kyrie.
You think they could get off Kyrie, get a little bit younger? I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do it.
I like Kyrie.
80s comments maybe made Rob trade him. No, this was in the works before 80s comments. The conversation, and that should not have been a factor. This should not be a what f you AD. How dare you say that you want to play with another big? Now I'm trading you to Dallas, and I guess I'll take back Luka. That's how badly I want you gone. So there. No, this is regardless.
It's just the timing and optics of it don't look great.
Exactly.
Like he asked publicly finally, and you trade him out.
Could JHS and Picks part be a precursor to another deal for Kessler, like a good faith thing off the books? I don't think so. I just don't see that being possible. Again, if they were going to loop in Kessler, the deal wouldn't have been put through. If they were going to loop Kessler, they can still go back and trade for Kessler now if they want to, if that becomes available. But it doesn't make sense to say, well, we're going to give you these 2 picks, and now you're going to help us out on the next deal, right, Danny? Right, Danny? Danny, where'd you go? Right? I mean, Tamal joined late. Welcome in. Did you already discuss the news of the Lakers potentially not offering AD an extension next summer? Is this true? Doesn't he have like 2 more years on his contract? So first of all, I don't know how true it is or not. AD, if we got to go over the Mavs now to find him, would be extension eligible here, but he's 31. He's about to turn 32 in March. So this will be 32, 33. At 33 years old, then you're offering him a contract extension. I can understand why the Lakers would say, well, I mean, a 4-year extension for AD. Now we're talking about we've got him through age 37. Do we want to go there? What's he going to be like at 37 years old? Is that going to be a bad contract? All of that. I could see why the Lakers would have some questions about that. But again, we're talking about not this summer, but the summer after this. So 2 summers from now, a lot changes between now and then. But I can understand why looking forward, the Lakers would be like, maybe we'd only give him 2 years or something on that extension rather than the full 4.
Yeah, when I think it's tricky when you're going to try to extend somebody that's into their 30s and will be getting a contract for 60 plus in their late 30s. It's kind of tricky. We've talked about it a lot with other guys, how they're going to want all that money late in their deals, and it's kind of it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. So maybe that's why. Maybe they would have tried to do a couple-year deal, and he wouldn't have wanted that.
Luke says, would you do Rui for KCP? I don't think the math works on that. I'm sure KCP is making more than 20.
Yeah.
So, but if I could do it, I mean, he's the better fit, but he's just been shooting so poorly this season.
And Rui's been blisteringly hot.
He's been great. I don't know if I do that. Christian, has Rob called you yet? Need a new behind the scenes skit video ASAP. I'll have to rustle up something and figure out what I can come up with there. Trade Austin for Josh Giddey. No. The Lakers win the chip if they trade Austin Reeves for Suggs and Goga. Well, yeah. I mean, Orlando would never do that, though. That's not anywhere close. Clutch never had control, or LA has Lou, Zubats, Caruso, Kyrie. Look, yeah, I'm not saying they had total control, but they have had some measure of influence, which is normal for a superstar to have that kind of influence on the team. Maybe influence is the better word than control. But we can't look at it and say Clutch had zero influence on the Lakers. No, just look at some of their decisions and signings and all of that over the years.
I think Clutch gets conflated with LeBron because there's this perception that LeBron runs Clutch, and there's a perception the GM runs everything. And it's not exactly true. That is Rich Paul's business. LeBron is a client of Rich Paul. I know that's hard to believe, right? But in terms of that, in terms of Rich Paul and what he's been able to do, they've worked pretty closely with Clutch. There was a couple of years there where a lot of the roster, like 7, 8, 9 guys, was Clutch guys. Like that type of stuff.
And it's been beneficial. It's not been a bad thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That type of stuff is more so where it is. It's not so much, oh, LeBron wants this, so go get LeBron that. That's not really what the Clutch means. Like, it means like the way that they're working with the organization as a whole, not just solely with LeBron and getting LeBron what he wants.
Warren, getting to his super chat. What is the best trade scenario for the Lakers without trading LeBron? I believe the best, I'm dreaming trade scenario would be a Walker Kessler trade, but a realistic would be a slightly unrealistic would be Jakob Poeltl. A realistic would be Clint Capella, I believe. That's my opinion.
I wouldn't be opposed to getting either of those guys on this team.
2 of Reeves, Rui, Gabe, Maxey for well, you can't combine Maxey Kleber with anybody else. You can't aggregate him in a trade for Turner and Nembhard. I don't think the Pacers would do that, but if I'm the Lakers, I would do that. Yes. Kevin said, love Austin Reeves, but if he could yield the assets to land Turner, I'd drive him to the airport myself. Yeah. And you could carpool, but yeah. I think that would be a good move.
They need a center back, though.
Jake Paul tweeted he heard Jimmy. Yeah, that's the problem. He heard Jimmy Butler heading to LA. They're not getting Jimmy Butler. They don't have the right salaries to go out for Jimmy Butler. Peyton, long-term after LeBron, who is the star you would want to see paired with Luka? Well, so in a post-LeBron world, we're talking 3 years down the road, whatever. Let's say I've been of the belief that LeBron will play one more year. That's just my own intuition. Yes. Let's say that happens. After that, post LeBron, who do you want to put with Luka? Well, ideally, you want somebody who doesn't necessarily need the ball in their hands all the time, somebody who can defend at a high level, somebody who can rebound. So we're probably talking about a younger Anthony Davis, like Evan Mobley would be great with Luka. You know who else would be great with Luka? Wemby. Can they just get him?
Yeah, he's the one guy you can't actually name because there's no way.
Right?
Zero chance.
Oh.
I mean, I kind of would like several guys. I would be kind of intrigued by maybe somebody like JJ. He could be fun.
Jaren Jackson, yeah.
He could be fun one. Especially with the way that he's turned more into an offensive threat. His issue is he's not a good rebounder, but he gives you basically everything else. But you would still probably need one more piece, I think, with those guys. It's kind of hard because a lot of the young stars in the league, I'm looking at a list of them anywhere, are initiators. Initially I was going to say Paolo Banchero. I think that could be fun. Him or Franz. I think that could be fun. But you kind of want to try to have the ball in Luka's hands all the time. So Mobley would be a really good one too.
Yeah.
Well, who would you rather have, Mobley or Jaren?
Oh, it's a tough call.
I think that's a really tough question.
I think he's younger. I think I lean Mobley.
But it's not by
much. But Jaren
like,
Jackson is the better player right now. There's no question.
Yeah, it's probably, but he's only like a year younger, right? Like 2 years younger.
Is that it? I thought it was more.
It's 2 years. It's not that big of a deal.
It's not as much as I thought. It's not as much as I thought. Man, that's tough.
Yeah.
Maybe I go Jaren. LeBron to Warriors for picks and Kuminga. It'd have to be more salary involved there. But yeah, I mean, it would be like Andrew Wiggins, Kuminga coming back. But again, LeBron, the word is LeBron wants to stay through the trade deadline, so that's not happening. So that's it. Because even if the Lakers said, hey, we want to do this, LeBron just goes, no trade clause. Sorry. Not doing that. February 1st, Lakers get Gasol in 2008. February 1st, 2025, they get Luka. And funny the way that lines up.
Insane.
Rob Williams for Reeves. No, definitely would not do that. Definitely not doing that. Let's see. First, people, please stop the Rob hate and just be happy. Fans, there's always something to complain about. Second, I'll trade any rotation player except Rui or Austin to get a much-needed center. That is option number one, the priority number one for the Lakers. It's find a center right now. Find a center. Yeah. That's it.
I also think you have to be okay with trading both of those guys if you want the right player. Both of them.
Yep. Definitely. Let's go here. Dallas is better competes with Boston now. Perhaps. Yeah, probably.
Kyrie wasn't great in that series though. So I think maybe they do, but I do think that one of the weaknesses of AD's game is that he's not able to initiate. He's not a grab it and go initiate for you type of star player. He needs somebody to get him involved. And so he's going to be pretty reliant on Kyrie. So I think kind of if you take Kyrie away, you may have an easier time with that. Whereas with Luka, you kind of can't take Luka away.
Right.
They took Kyrie away last year. We saw it could be done. It's tricky.
Marcus said, why couldn't we get Gafford or Lively? You didn't get enough?
No. You don't ask for anything else. You just get the deal done and get off.
You just do it.
You just press the button. You're done.
Yeah. Makes real sense for Turner to push for a trade to LA now, starting next to Luka and LeBron, offering Reeves to Indy, may also land another defensive guy. Yeah, but they have to get a center back. That's the problem. Indy needs a center in any kind of a Miles Turner deal because they want to win right now. They don't want to take a step back. They want to win right now. Dalton, Wood, Reddish for Cam Thomas and Day'Ron Sharpe. Cam Thomas doesn't really fit what you need, but value-wise, I would do that. And you would have to include draft capital too, because the Nets would not do that, by the way. But yeah.
Yeah, you don't need that.
The Jimmy Butler trade seems so small now. Yeah, are you not entertained? Right? This is awesome.
This is the craziest trade we've seen in like how many years?
A long time. This may be the craziest ever.
Yeah, there's no way for any other trade to compete with this. Like they're all going to be insignificant in comparison.
I mean, people are going back to this is the craziest thing since Kareem was traded to the Lakers.
That's crazy.
I mean, trade Austin for Josh Green and a pick. Yeah, I don't think I would do that. I mean, I guess it depends on the pick, right? And then what are you doing with that pick? Are you flipping it into something else?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the problem. Reeves, Rui, 2031 and filler for Pirtle and Bruce Brown. I mean, that's $43 million in salary. Rui is 17 plus, so that's 30. So your filler would have to be Gabe to get there, and then a small contract. Reeves, Rui, Gabe, plus 2031 to get Pirtle and Bruce Brown. I don't know.
I'd like Pirtle, but
Yeah. Would Mitch Robinson work for LA? I mean, he's not healthy right now. He's got to get back on the floor. He's getting there. He's getting closer. But sure, if he was healthy, sure. He's a rebounding, shot blocking monster, a absolute beast on the offensive glass. But you also have to believe that he'll stay healthy, and he has not done that recently. So, but Mitch Robinson, sure. I mean, he's a guy to check in on, but again, he hasn't been on the floor yet this year. And is Dallas beating OKC? They can give him some run. That's for sure.
They already beating them this year? Haven't they beat them in all their matchups?
Have they?
I think they
I don't know. I'd have to look.
I'd have to confirm that. I think that they have.
Wow. Yeah, that could be. I think they have the team to potentially do it, but OKC is really, really, really good. So I wouldn't pick the Mavs in that series.
No.
But the Mavs, do they have a shot? Sure.
This season, their record is 3-1.
Okay. That's pretty good against OKC.
Yeah. Probably the only team that's beat them that many times.
Probably, yeah. When Luka's contract is up, he's going to leave to go with the Joker. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then he won't sign that extension the Lakers are going to offer him over the summer. And if that's the case, then the Lakers will put him on the trade market and they'll move him. Which, again, is not where I'm expecting this to go, but that would be the scenario. But if the Lakers offer, it's the same situation as De'Aaron Fox. If the contract extension gets offered and the player says no, that's it. Instant trade season. You can't risk them walking away for nothing. Saber said Reeves for Neesmith, Rui and Wood for Pirtle. I think that would probably make the Lakers better if you could do that. Now you'd have to include draft capital to get Pirtle and Neesmith. But does that fit what Indy wants? Does that fit what the Raptors want? That's where maybe you run into some issues there. All right, everybody. We've been on here for an hour and a half now, and I think we've got through every super chat that was in here. We appreciate all of you who have come in and thrown in all the different questions, all the different comments here. A lot of stuff going on right now. Here we've got one. LA and believe to game bigs. Oh yeah, they have to believe that they can get bigs out there on the market. They have to.
Yeah.
They have to. I'm sure they do. So
did we get to the one that we were forgetting apparently?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
We got it. All right, everybody. Again, appreciate all of you. I got to jump over onto another show for a minute. If you haven't subscribed yet to the Basketball Bulletin, please make sure you do subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up. Give us that like as well. Again, thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll have all kinds of stuff going on around the NBA. So, again, stay tuned. Wouldn't shock me if we have more stuff coming out today. Oh, Sway at the buzzer. Trade Reeves, Gabe, and Rui for Sabonis. I mean, yeah, I don't think the Kings would do that, though.
I'm doing it.
I would do it.
Defense be damned. I'm doing it.
Any trades today, you think? Probably not for the Lakers, but other teams? Sure. Other teams can do it. Any way to get Davion Mitchell and Kessler? Probably not. You're probably going to have to give up much of what you've got left in order to get just Kessler. All right, everybody. Appreciate all of you. Till next time. See ya. And stay safe.